But I'm just thinking now, as we think about this Crown Jewel show, we had the Cody Gunther interaction. All right, here's Cody on Raw. They had him there last week. You get 2 Raws out of Cody, and probably more because they have to go crossover in some way, shape, or form for the next few weeks leading into Crown Jewel. And Cody comes out and does his thing and talks about St. Louis being the place where the "we want Cody" thing happened, and all right, that's what's gonna, that pandering to the crowd in a way that made sense. This was the first place that pushed back as he was getting to the idea of him not being in the WrestleMania main event this year. And then Gunther comes out. And once again, Gunther talks up his opponent and then finds a way to rip him down, but really without changing his cadence. Not a lot of people I respect in this company, but you're one of them. Talks about being the guy in the face and all that, and kind of tears Cody down at the end. And Cody's like, what you think is my biggest weakness is my biggest strength. And then he uses something that I thought was very interesting. He makes a point to say to Gunther that Cody beat the most dominant champion that the company's ever had in the last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. But he put Roman on a pedestal. And you haven't really heard Cody do that very often to bolster his resume, to talk up his resume. And I thought it was interesting that they did that, considering everything else that's going on, which Cody referenced of, he goes, a lot of people don't like me, and I'm dealing with it. I'm sure you've seen it across all the shows. But he put Roman on this pedestal coming off of a Friday Night SmackDown where Roman talked about being pissed that he wasn't the champion. And, we ran things and we were the GOATs and blah, 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 blah. And even Jimmy said, hey, we're not that anymore. And it was almost like Cody unintentionally, and by the way, what Cody said last night was taped 4 days before that whole Jimmy and Roman interaction on Friday Night SmackDown. But it was interesting that Cody used Roman to bolster who he was and who he was to Gunther. And if you want to talk about being dominant, I beat the most dominant champion maybe this company has ever had. You're not in the deep end because your feet can still touch the ground. And then he insinuated he'll be in the deep end when he steps in with Cody Rhodes. And I like that. Part of me looked at it as if it's to say, hey, we are 6 months into Cody Rhodes' WWE Championship reign. He's been a main eventer. He's been a top star in the company since he walked back through the door at WrestleMania 2 years ago. Yet, in a way, he felt the need to defend himself to Gunther, but also sending the message of, hey, if you're so dominant, you better understand you're stepping into the ring with someone who beat the most dominant champion of all time, who is the WWE champion, who is the face of this company. Don't take that lightly. Don't doubt who I am. Now, no one should be doubting Cody, but Gunther can look at Cody in such a way. Gunther can look at Cody and say, I'm respectful of you, but you also have all these other things that you're worried about being that. I'm not worried about that. I'm a great champion. You're a secondary champion. That's the line. That's the line that when it comes from Gunther as the world heavyweight champion, a championship that has been around for what, 17 months in that iteration? But because of the work Gunther has done in his entire main event run or his entire main roster run, from Intercontinental Champion to winning King of the Ring to being a world heavyweight champion who has defeated Damian Priest, who's defeated Randy Orton, who's defeated Sami Zayn. He has built up everything he has done and everything that is associated with him as a big deal. And it feels big. And it feels like if Gunther's attached to it, it is main event. It is top caliber. And that includes the World Heavyweight Championship, to the point that he can say with a straight face and with full belief that he is the top champion of the men in WWE. I brought out the argument last week. Who is the better world champion right now? In story. I know Cody's the guy. I know Gunther is not even a top 5 face of the company person. He's not supposed to be. But in kayfabe, in storyline purposes, who's been a stronger, better champion? To me, it is Gunther. That might make you care about this match. Do you care about this match? I ask that first. I throw that to everyone in the chat right now. Nerdy Dude, Ronald, John, whoever. Do you care about Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the Crown Jewel Championship? If you don't, would anything make you care? Would you care more, or would it matter more if Gunther won? Because he is not the face of the company. I think he kind of has to win. Now, I don't like the idea of either one of these guys losing a match when there's no title to lose. I don't like one of these guys taking a loss, even if it's to the other champion. I don't like that that's happening 6 months into Cody's reign, 2 months into Gunther's reign. Very early for first-time world champions to be losing and it not end their reign. That's my problem with it. That's why I think this show is a nuisance for the booking. And I don't know the comings and goings and the business dealings. And believe me, this kind of stuff happened. Here, I'll tell you a story. When they did Night of Champions last year, and Seth won the World Heavyweight Championship, that was supposed to be, from what I was told, a King and Queen of the Ring tournament. They were bringing it back. And for whatever reason, it wasn't, quote, big enough. And instead, we got Night of Champions, and we got Seth winning the World Championship. Now, I'm not going to say that that wasn't the plan, but they definitely wanted to make it more. And that was, from what I was told, a Saudi insistence, if you will. Let's call it that. And so we got AJ and Seth, and we had the world title and all that stuff. And I don't know if it was because of who was going to be in King and Queen of the Ring or whatever it was, but there was a pivot there. So that has happened before. You've, I think, all heard the story that, you know, for that battle royal, they wanted wrestlers who were deceased. So they couldn't get Yokozuna. They got that random sumo guy. You know, they all the big names that show up. That kind of stuff has happened. And I do wonder, while we've had a Crown Jewel, this November show for years now, if that was, hey, we want it to be bigger. Okay, here's the Crown Jewel Championship, and it only gets fought for here in Saudi Arabia. And maybe that will be a big deal on the day of, but I don't see the general fan caring after the fact if it just disappears. Hey, look, at some point in time, it will be a talking point when Cody Rhodes and Gunther battle, and it matters more. maybe over one of their championships or in a much more personal feud as opposed to this, which is just champion versus champion thrown together. Someone will have a talking point of, I beat you. That's for down the road. Does that get you excited about Crown Jewel and this match? To me, it doesn't. Hey, this is Matt Camp. Thanks for checking out one of our recent clips from the wrestling mat. Why is someone so close to The Rock kind of throwing Cody under the bus?
Yeah, a lot of people won't engage with Jim Cornette. I did, just because I have a mark for Jim Cornette. And
Please subscribe right now. Hit the like and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And I think you should listen to your TV partners. Let me tell you about WWE and a little insight. More subscribers means more content. And make sure you follow us on social media at WrestlingMat23 on both Twitter and Instagram.